You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders protect their people and property with wisdom and clarity. In today's episode, we are going to talk about what a managed care program really means for your church. Teddy serves on the finance committee at his church in Waco. Like so many church leaders across Texas, he's watched insurance premiums eat away at his church's budget year after year. Every dollar redirected to insurance feels like a dollar taken from important church activities. So when a new insurance proposal landed on his desk promising meaningful savings on property insurance, Teddy felt relief. Real relief. For the first time in a while, it looked like the bleeding might finally stop. But Teddy has learned many things the hard way over the years, and he knew enough to know that this solution might be too good to be true. Instead of signing off quickly, he slowed down. He ran the policy through every filter he could think of. Finally, he found it. Language buried in the policy. It was a phrase he'd never seen before. Managed repair program. That's when he knew he had to find an expert to help him to understand. So he called us at Insurance for Texans. A managed repair program is one of the most misunderstood developments in Texas church insurance today. On the surface, it looks harmless, even helpful. Lower premiums, streamlined claims, less hassle. But here's the truth. Most churches don't learn until after a storm. Those savings come at the cost of control. Managed repair programs are the insurance industry's response to rising weather losses in Texas. Hail claims, wind claims, roof claims. The goal isn't to restore your church. The goal is to protect the insurer's balance sheet. When a church agrees to a managed repair program, they are agreeing to a fundamentally different claims process. One that looks fine on paper but feels very different when the roof is torn open and water is pouring into the sanctuary. Under a standard replacement cost policy, the church stays in control. You choose your contractor, you review and approve the scope of work, you push for full restoration using materials of similar kind and quality. Under a managed repair program, that control disappears the moment a claim is approved. First, you are forced to use the insurance company's contractor, not someone you trust, not a local company that understands your building, not a church member who has worked on the property for years. You must use their vendor and their scope of work, and it's not a suggestion. It's a requirement in the insurance contract. Second, the promise shifts from full restoration to just acceptable repairs. It means that the repair is good enough for the carrier to close the claim. That can lead to mismatched shingles, siding, flooring, or finishes. Unique materials may be replaced with whatever is cheapest and readily available. Third, replacement cost becomes hollow. On paper, you still have replacement cost coverage. In practice, the insurance company decides what replacement looks like and what it should cost. If their version falls short of true restoration, the church is left with a funding gap or a building that no longer reflects what it once was. That gap doesn't show up in the premium. It shows up later as emergency fundraising, deferred repairs, or permanent compromises to the facility. As Teddy worked through this, he realized something sobering. The premium savings he was being offered could easily turn into tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in unrecoverable costs after the next hailstorm. That's not stewardship. That's risk disguised as savings. Managed repair programs aren't always explained clearly. They're often buried deep in policy language, and many churches don't realize what they've agreed to until they're standing in the middle of a claim with no leverage. This is why working with a true church insurance specialist matters. At Insurance for Texans, our job is not just to find a lower premium. It's to protect the long-term integrity of your church's ministry. That means helping you understand what you have and what you might be giving up before you sign on the dotted line. Our True Texas Church Insurance program is built around preserving certainty. Full replacement costs, the right to choose your contractor, coverage that aligns with the complexity and purpose of your church property. If your church has been offered a policy with unusually low premiums, ask the hard questions. And if the answers aren't clear, talk to someone who does this every day. You can connect with our church insurance team at insurancefortexans.com. And if you would like to know more about church insurance, we wrote the book on the topic. Get your free copy at thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance Protecting Texas Churches.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.